I have yet to see a single example of Angel Reese being a leader outside of rebounding her own missed layups. What does Angel Reese do? What is her contribution? You tell me, because I'm not seeing it. I know I'm harsh on Angel Reese, but she considers herself a star. If you're going to call yourself a star, I expect you to perform like a star, especially in big moments. Caitlin Clark was injured. Angel Reese was the only star on the court last night. And for 27 minutes, she completely disappeared.
There are moments in sports when everything aligns. The lights, the cameras, the crowd, and an athlete has one chance to prove they belong in the spotlight. For Angel Reese, that moment arrived at the United Center. A primetime matchup on CBS, thousands in attendance, and a narrative carefully crafted around her supposed superstardom. This was supposed to be the night she silenced the doubters. Instead, it turned into a disaster class that exposed not just her performance, but her position in the league.
Well, there's a lot of reaction coming in from last night's drubbing, destruction, annihilation, cremation, whatever you want to call it, roasting, sauteed, whatever your form of cooking may be. But the Indiana Fever absolutely dismantled the Chicago Sky.
Angel Reese walked into that arena with every reason to shine. The Chicago Sky were counting on her to deliver a headline-worthy performance in front of 19,000 fans on the biggest WNBA stage of the year. But when the game started, the lights seemed too bright. Reese didn't just underperform, she vanished. 4 points, 2 of 7 shooting, visible frustration, and 0 presence when it mattered most. Her collapse wasn't just about missed layups. It was a collapse of confidence, execution, and leadership. And for someone who calls herself a star, that simply doesn't fly.
Angel Reese is now quoted as saying, "I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person." She refuses to say Caitlin Clark's name. "It's because of me too, and I want you to realize that."
This game was supposed to be Angel Reese's statement. With Caitlin Clark ruled out due to injury, the narrative finally shifted. Reese had the spotlight to herself. No rival to share the headlines, no excuse to hide behind. The WNBA moved the game from a local venue to the United Center, the largest arena in the NBA, for what was marketed as a marquee matchup. CBS cleared its primetime slot. Expectations couldn't have been higher.
Last night was somewhat of a big moment for Angel Reese and the Chicago Bravado. For starters, the WNBA moved the game out of the local dump the Bravado usually play in and relocated to the United Center, which is the largest arena in the NBA, holding over 20,000 people. Now, to their credit, there seemed to be a good crowd in the United Center last night. I had someone who was at the game send me a few pictures, and most sections seemed to be filled. It wasn't a sellout, but there was supposedly over 19,000 people in attendance. Of course, it's easier to draw a decent crowd when tickets are selling for $3 hours before the game starts.
But then, something telling happened. As soon as Caitlin Clark was ruled out, ticket prices plummeted, from premium pricing to $3 a seat. Let that sink in. The moment Clark was no longer part of the storyline, interest evaporated. Fans who were once eager to pay top dollar suddenly lost enthusiasm. Scalpers couldn't give tickets away. Reese was left as the main draw, and the market responded loud and clear. She wasn't enough. For someone being pushed as the new face of the WNBA, that kind of fan reaction should be alarming.
Oof. What an outfit Angel Reese was rocking. She put a lot of time, a lot of effort into making sure her ensemble was on point. Are my boots matching my jacket? Are my gloves matching my hat? Angel Reese put in tons of time for this outfit, which begs the question, does Angel Reese put in more time in her outfits for the pregame catwalk, or does she put in more time to actually get better at the game of basketball?
And hey, before we keep going, If you're someone who actually wants the truth behind these games and players, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button, like this video, and drop a comment with your thoughts. Whether you're Team Clark, Team Reese, or Team I Just Love the Game, your voice helps this channel grow and keep telling the stories the media won't touch. We've got a lot more to uncover, and I want you here for all of it.
Folks, there were people in the crowd getting there early saying, "Hey, Caitlin, can you sign my jersey? Hey, Aaliyah, can you sign my shirt? Hey, Sophie, can you sign my picture?" There were people asking for autographs in the Chicago Sky crowd that weren't even born yet the last time the Chicago Sky scored this little amount of points. There were people in the crowd who weren't even a thought in their parents' minds at the time that the Chicago Sky last scored at least 52 points, the lowest point total since 2011.
Statistically speaking, Angel Reese's night was a mess. 4 points, 2 made baskets, 3 turnovers, and a minus 23-point differential in the 27 minutes she spent on the court. But stats alone don't capture the emotional unraveling. She missed easy layups. She looked lost against Indiana's pressure defense. And as the cameras panned over her expression after each mistake, you could almost see the weight of the moment sinking in. The crowd groaned after each blown opportunity, and by the fourth quarter, fans were filing out, not just because Chicago was losing, but because they were bored.
Angel Reese, part 38, let's get it! Life throws her lemons, she makes bricks. Bang! PSA to anyone watching, she is right-handed. Right-handed, by the way. She missed the rim by 3 feet, man. Bang! I gotta say, this is my favorite summer sitcom. Pecan? Butter pecan? Bang! Here's a stat. She's been blocked 20 times, and she's only made 21 hoops. What?
Reese's confidence, which is often celebrated on social media and through her flamboyant fashion statements, seemed completely absent in this game. And yes, let's talk about the outfit. She came dressed like it was a runway show, not a basketball game. Gloves, boots, color coordination, everything was on point. Everything except her game. It raises a fair question. Is more time being spent on pre-game aesthetics than actual performance prep? Because when the scoreboard read Indiana plus 27, no one cared how fly the outfit looked.
As a matter of fact, this might have been the first WNBA game broadcast on CBS in prime time. If it's not the first, it's one of very few. This was a big moment. I'm sure the WNBA would call it historic. Angel Reese is playing in an NBA arena in prime time on network television on Saturday night. Outside of regular season baseball, maybe the College World Series, there was no competition on television. The eyes of the sports world were focused on Angel Reese and the WNBA. And Angel Reese once again proved why no one is watching her.
This wasn't just a poor game. It was a reputation shift in real time. With national exposure and a narrative built around her star power, Angel Reese had a moment to rise. Instead, she gave fans a reason to doubt. And in sports, perception is everything. When the country finally tuned in to see what the hype was about, all they saw was a player completely outmatched and overwhelmed.
Caitlin Clark is averaging more assists per game than Angel Reese is averaging points per game this season. Yeah. 9.3 points per assist per game. 9.3 assists per game. Let me just bring it up. To 9.1 points per game.
Another diabolical stat. She's 19 of 59 from less than 5 feet away. How about that, man? Bang! She should work at housekeeping for hotels because she could turn it over quickly. Lost by 27, scored only 4 points against the Indiana Fever. To mention no Caitlin Clark, no problem, give and go. Like a given no shot of working. Bang!
You prefer car or plane?
Car or plane for what? For how you want to travel! That's too many steps and you can't do that. Bang!
What makes this performance even more brutal is that Caitlin Clark wasn't even in the building. She didn't suit up, she didn't warm up, she didn't even sit on the bench. Clark was out with a quad injury. Sophie Cunningham? Also missing. Head coach Stephanie White? Outside, the Indiana Fever played without 3 key figures and still blew the sky off the court. That's not just a loss, that's a wake-up call.
Oof. What an outfit Angel Reese was rocking. She put a lot of time, a lot of effort into making sure her ensemble was on point. Are my boots matching my jacket? Are my gloves matching my hat? Angel Reese put in tons of time for this outfit, which begs the question, does Angel Reese put in more time in her outfits for the pre-game catwalk, or does she put in more time to actually get better at the game of basketball?
Without Clark's gravity-pulling defensive schemes and media attention, the Fever still dominated the entire game. That tells us everything we need to know about Chicago and about Reese's ability, or lack thereof, to lead without external energy propping her up. Fans weren't there to see her. They weren't chanting her name. And they certainly weren't impressed by what they got. The WNBA had gifted Reese an empty stage and a loud microphone. And instead of seizing the moment, she choked.
But unfortunately, Angel Reese brought her outfit and left her game at home. She brought the nice hat, she brought the nice boots, she brought the nice jacket, she brought the nice gloves, but unfortunately, she left her game at home. 4 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists in 27 minutes of action, a minus 23 turnovers as the Chicago Sky, without Caitlin Clark, without Sophie Cunningham, without Stephanie White.
In sports, there's no better spotlight than one earned by absence. Clark's absence made people look harder at who was left. And when that spotlight hit Reese alone, she couldn't carry the weight. The result? One of the most embarrassing performances of her career on a night that was supposed to be all hers.
Angel Reese gets up, Aaliyah Boston shoves her, gives her a little stiffy. Hey, don't come at Caitlin. But look at her, Angel Reese upset. Oh my gosh. Hey man, this was hilarious. Look, Angel Reese was pissed. Look at her, she was still going out.
You know it's bad when the highlight of your night is trending, for all the wrong reasons. Social media lit up like wildfire after the game, but not in celebration. Fans didn't post clips of amazing plays or interviews praising performance. Instead, the timeline was flooded with screenshots of $3 tickets, jokes about empty seats, and memes mocking Angel Reese's pre-game runway look. One fan even posted, "I paid more for parking than to see Angel Reese play." Ouch. In these failures.
I thought Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark were cool. But I don't know, man. The way Angel got up, she was like, Look at her. Ooh. I mean, she was getting after it, fam. Oh my goodness. Now, the funny thing was Caitlin Clark sniffing, walking away. Hold on, let me see if I can get a good angle. Oh yeah, look. watch Caitlin Clark's face right here. Watch this.
And the fashion? That became part of the punchline. Reese's all-black high-glam outfit was picked apart in the comments. She dressed like a villain, and she delivered like one. To her own team, one user wrote. Others questioned if her priorities were misplaced, asking why more time seemed to be spent matching her gloves with her boots than refining her shooting form. In an age where every detail gets dissected, image is power, but only if the performance backs it up. Otherwise, it turns into fuel for critics.
Shot clock is winding down. You got to close out with the hand up. Her hands were down, and Howard knocked it down, and that is a travel.
Reese drags the pivot foot, gives the ball back to Indiana. 8 to shoot. Boston this time, working against Reese. Pivots, puts it up.
There's a moment.
In the end, it wasn't just a game. It was a referendum, and fans spoke loud and clear. When the performance doesn't match the persona, when hype doesn't convert into highlights, the internet has no mercy. This wasn't the social boost Reese needed. It was a digital dressing down she might not recover from easily.
No Caitlin Clark, no problem. No Sophie Cunningham, no problem. No head coach Stephanie White, have no fear. The final boss, Austin Kelly, is here. The Chicago Sky, we came into your building and we just from pillar to post, smacked you guys around.
If this were just a one-time flop, we might chalk it up to a bad night. But Angel Reese's record against the Indiana Fever tells a darker story. Just a few weeks prior, the Fever absolutely torched the sky in another blowout, winning by 35 points. And guess what? Reese was at the center of that humiliation too. That wasn't a coincidence. It was the beginning of a disturbing pattern that's now hard to ignore.
This time steps right through the heart of the defense and blows by Chicago. The winds off of Lake Michigan. Loses Atkins, step back mini, knocks it down. Oh, the connection to Howard. How about the finish from Mitchell?
And she may be the quickest guard in the league with the ball in her hands.
Back in May, Reese tried to get physical with Caitlin Clark. There were shoulder bumps, trash talk, and attempts to shake the rookie phenom. But none of it worked. Clark brushed it off like lint on a jersey, and Indiana ran away with the game. Fast forward to the United Center game, and it's more of the same. Aggressive tactics that fail, defensive breakdowns, missed shots, and a body language that screamed frustration. The only difference? This time, Caitlin wasn't even there, and Reese still collapsed.
But both teams facing a little bit of adversity, having certain players out or not at full capacity.
McDonald, a huge triple in the corner. Mitchell, patient in the corner, flips it up top. Boston, other side. McDonald, another three. I'm loving it.
That's the dangerous part. Angel Reese isn't just struggling. She's struggling repeatedly against the same opponent in bigger and bigger moments. And in a league that prides itself on consistency and growth, that's a red flag. She's not just being outplayed, she's being exposed.
Yes, sir.
Great job. All right, great job.
Thanks, Daddy.
It started for us on the defensive end. We set the tone from the jump and never looked back. All right. Their starters, 8 for 29 from the field.
Hell yeah.
Hell of a job. Great attention to detail. That's less than 30%. We held them 32% for the game.
While Reese was falling apart, Indiana's veterans and role players were rising to the occasion. Kelsey Mitchell stepped up like a true leader, scoring 17 points on 5 of 11 shooting, while dishing out assists and controlling the pace. Every time Chicago looked like they might claw back, Mitchell made the right play, whether it was a dagger mid-range jumper or a smart dish to a cutter. That's what leadership looks like.
All right, great job there. All right, we won the boards. All right, and they're a second chance points team. All right, and we won that area as well. Yeah. Taking away their strengths was something that we did a great job of. All right.
Just extremely proud of y'all. We stayed locked in. We stayed together. We executed the scout at a very high level. Just multiple levels of effort. Everything that we've asked of you today, we put it in there. And from now, again, stacking days, building on those moments where we're stringing those possessions together, right? Building on those great possessions on defense and on offense. Great, hell of a job, y'all. High level.
Then came the X factor, Ari McDonald. Just signed on a hardship contract, she came off the bench and lit the sky up for 12 points, including 3 threes and 4 steals. That's not just contribution, that's domination. She played like a seasoned vet, not someone parachuting into the roster. She attacked the rim, stretched the floor, and clamped down defensively, and the crowd felt it. Every McDonald three-pointer sent a ripple through the stadium, contrasting sharply with Reese's silence. This wasn't just about stats. It was about poise, impact, and timing. The Fever didn't just win. They sent a message. They're not dependent on one player, and when the pressure mounts, they step up. Meanwhile, Chicago's star melted under that same spotlight. And let's not forget, the Fever didn't even have their head coach. Stephanie White was absent, and acting head coach Austin Kelly was running the show. You'd expect some chaos, maybe a drop-off in execution, but the opposite happened. Indiana played their most balanced, fluid, and dominant game of the season. That speaks volumes. Kelly's adjustments were subtle but surgical. The ball movement was crisp. The defense suffocated Chicago's every attempt at rhythm. The Fever recorded 20 assists on 27 made shots, a stat that screams unselfish, high IQ basketball. Every player knew their role, every rotation was tight, and every possession had purpose. Meanwhile, the Sky looked disjointed, confused, and increasingly desperate. It's rare to credit a fill-in coach this much, but Kelly earned it. His post-game remarks echoed what fans already saw. This team was locked in from the jump, never took their foot off the gas, and never gave Chicago a moment to breathe. Reese might have had the stage, but the Fever had the script, and they delivered it flawlessly. When fans talk about rivalries, they expect balance. 2 players, 2 teams, trading blows, building drama. But this isn't a rivalry. This is a rout. The Fever are now 2-0 against the Sky this season with a combined margin of victory over 60 points. And both times, Angel Reese was the focal point of Chicago's failure. Every time she steps onto the court against Indiana, the same story unfolds. Missed shots, forced plays, visible frustration. It's like the Fever live rent-free in her head. And Clark doesn't even have to say a word. Her game speaks volumes, even when she's not in uniform. This storyline was supposed to be Reese's redemption arc. Instead, it's turning into a sequel of humiliation. And let's be clear, this is about more than one bad performance. This is about what happens when a player's confidence gets shattered and the league watches it happen in real time. The WNBA wanted stars. They wanted drama. But what they're getting is a reminder that greatness isn't marketed, it's earned. So here we are. Angel Reese had the arena, the cameras, and the storyline, but none of it mattered when the ball tipped off. The moment the game started, everything that made her look like a star vanished. No leadership, no clutch moments, no presence. And as the scoreboard ticked upward in Indiana's favor, one truth became painfully clear. Reese didn't rise, she disappeared. And while she focused on the outfit, the walk-in, and the Instagram-ready images, the Fever focused on execution, chemistry, and hunger. The result? A 27-point beatdown without even needing their best players. That's not just a loss. It's a warning shot to the league. The Fever are rising, and they don't need flash to dominate. If you want more videos that cut through the noise and give you the real breakdown, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and drop a comment below. What do you think this game says about Angel Reese's future? Let's hear it. And while you're here, click the video on your screen next, because this story is far from over.